Hey friends, this is Laura with Potpourri of Life. I hope that you are having a great day. What I want to talk about today is Charlie horses, leg cramps. And the reason that it's a topic is because my husband called me from work, I think it was about a week ago, and he goes, Laura, do you have a remedy for Charlie horses? And I said, actually I do. And he knew that I drank a particular tonic to kind of alleviate the cramps. But what I want to share with you today is some of the things that I know, some of the things I learned, like how do they occur, what causes them, and what we can do about it. Well, first off, for those of you who have never had a Charlie horse, they are such intense pain in your calves. Usually it happens in your calves, and sometimes it happens in your feet. And what it does, it feels like somebody has a vice grip and it's so tight and it doesn't want to release. And it's so painful. It can bring tears to your eyes. It can make someone scream. It's so painful. Ask my husband my reaction. I sometimes scream because I would wake up out of sleep and out of a dead sleep, and I would just be screaming. And there was nothing I could do. I would kick and scream, and then I had to realize, okay, what do I do? So there's a few things we can do, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So the causes are due to overuse of your muscles, and that's the most common. So if you're an athlete or if you do a lot of walking for your job, I did when I worked at the hospital, I did a lot of walking when I covered for a liaison, the surgical liaison. But there's even still, when you're on the floors, you're walking to the different rooms, you're going up and down stairs, you're going here and there, and so you're always on your feet. So a lot of people in the medical profession are risking having leg cramps. If they haven't had them, they're very fortunate. So, and there's things that you can do, so maybe they're doing that anyway. So dehydration is a big cause of leg cramping, and that can come from being somebody who is busy, like somebody in the medical practice business, but also from people that are working and can't get away to get a drink. Or maybe you decide that you don't want to drink so much water and stuff. You really need to hydrate your body. And I understand the side effects for some, that you're making a ton of trips to the bathroom. I get that. But what it does is your body, your muscles need that water. It needs hydration because our bodies are designed to get rid of toxins through the bladder, clean through our liver, and help clean the kidneys. And it also helps to feed our muscles. So we need the hydration. And if you're getting leg cramps at night and you don't want them, and you're not doing all the exercises and stuff, it might be because you're not drinking enough water. Now, too much exercise can cause dehydration too. So when you're out and about, make sure you're drinking. Exercising in extreme heat, you get dehydrated. Anybody who exercises in extreme heat, or if you work on a farm, work in a garden. I did that last summer. I was out there and I'd be sweating. If your body is sweating, that's a sign you need to start drinking to replenish all the salts and the water that's coming out of your body. You can exercise in the hot weather, but you can also exercise in like the cold weather we're experiencing now. And what happens is our muscles get so tight that we forget to connect the brain to the muscles and say, calm down. And some things that you can do for your muscle cramps is you can use a heat pack, you can use ice. Some suggest heat first and then the cold. But one thing that we do is we put an ointment on it, and I'm going to show you how to make this a little bit later. And so, that just helps. It's not that I always have it. I used to buy it, and then the brand never sold it anymore. I'm like, oh, that's not good. And so what do? I get resolution and I make something. Okay, so stress. Can you believe this? Stress can cause it too. And if you think about it, when we have a lot of stress, we get tight. Some of us get it in our shoulders, our back, our stomachs, our legs. I've never gotten stress in my legs, but I get it in my shoulder and my neck, and I also get it in my abdomen. So you really need to reduce your stress. Easier said than done, but that, with some of my intentional training, intentional changes that I'm making for the 2023 year, that is one of them. And stress that I don't need to deal with, I'm not dealing with. So, or at least that's my attempt. Now, poor blood flow to your muscles can cause this, and not enough vitamin and minerals. And if you're not getting enough electrolytes, and these are the things in electrolytes, which is sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. And even though I don't like a lot of salt in my food, and you'll see that I put salt in most of my foods because we do need some salt. It doesn't mean you have to have a whole bag of potato chips or a whole thing. You don't need to put the whole canister of salt in your food, just a smidgen to help enhance the flavor. That's all you need. But if you're getting all these cramps, you need an electrolyte drink that does have salt in it as well. Standing or sitting too long, and because that reduces your blood flow. Now, yesterday I was working, sewing. I was standing a lot, but what it did was it caused pain in my lower and upper back. And it wasn't a Charlie horse. My legs were fine because I was moving. I was going from different location. I was up and down. I was doing stuff. And that helps prevent, because then your legs don't get so tired. But if I was standing all day, my legs would have been tight because those muscles would have been been holding firm all day. So you want to take a look at what you are doing, whether it's in your job or at home or around your property and stuff. Make sure that you're moving and make sure you don't become stagnant. And if you're one who sits on the couch and watches TV all day long, that's not going to help you if you have leg cramps. Now, another problem is the malfunction of our nervous system, and that can be from spinal cord injuries. Pinched nerves in the neck or back can cause a signal disruption to the muscles. I have that. I have some back issues that I won't not list the areas and what's going on with my back, but that is something that I have. So I have to be very in tune on what I'm doing. And yesterday we went and got a bunch of grains at the grain store because I make my own chicken feed. In doing so, I was tempted to help my husband as he was taking it out of the truck today. I was like looking at him, it's like, it doesn't look that bad. And I was able to flip it over to see what was actually in the bag. And I didn't, because he was helping me. And I just wanted to help him, but he won't let me help. Take one side. But that being said, I didn't do it. And I was so tempted, because it's like, I remember when I was younger, I used to pick up 50 pounds like it was nothing. But I'm not 26 anymore. And I have to be careful, because the things that the MRI said was going on with my back, I can't go for surgery. I refuse to have surgery, and the surgery is not going to help that. So what do you do when you have back issues, spinal cord? And it's not necessarily spinal cord. I just have a lot of different things going down my spine that affect me. So it's not the spinal cord. It's actually the things that are going on in my spine. So I always have to be careful, and sometimes I can't get up. But because of that, I can still get leg cramping. So I'm trying to be very intentional about how I move things and what I do. Let's see. Now, another thing that can cause it are certain medications. Now, I'm going to remind you, I am not a doctor. I can not tell you what to take or what to get off. It has to be between you and your physician. Do I like medications? No. You won't catch me kind of going to the doctor because I saw an ad and say, oh, I think that'll help me. I just won't do that. But I'm not saying that that's what you do, because my husband has gone to the doctor and they have prescribed him things, and he'd have side effects. And the responsibility is the patient. If the doctor's not going to tell you your side effects, you need to be the one who says, hey, this is a concern I have. What will this medication do? And they need to be able to share that with you. And I've said this before, ask them to show you online. Every physician I've ever gone and seen, they have a computer in that room and it has access to this information. So, diuretics that you are given for your blood pressure, heart failure, and kidney disease. Those things are essential, but you can take care of your body in other ways in terms of eating healthy. And I know doctors disagree with me on this, but you can do some things. You can't always take care of the blood pressure issue, and I'm going to go into that in a little bit. Nicotinic acid, I'm not sure if I said that right. I've never seen that word. It came from some notes. And then the statins that you are given for cholesterol. And my husband has been given cholesterol statins, and he had to go off because of the side effects. We're not talking about Charlie horses here. We're talking about the other side effects that he had. Excuse me. Drink water. Okay. Now, I don't know how to say this word. Raloxifene, and that is for osteoporosis prevention. There's rufidipine. It's for angina and Raynaud's syndrome, or phenomenon. Now, I don't personally, I have osteoporosis, but I'm not on medication. That is a choice. It's something that will come up again at my next appointment because I will need to go for the DEXA scan again. And there are ways for you to reverse osteoporosis, and there are ways for you to prevent it. And one of the things is you need to exercise. The other thing is make sure you're getting certain nutrients into your body. And I'm not going to go into that here today, but exercise is important. And if you are trying to, reduce it, reverse it, then you have to take some steps to do that. Now, these are all medications that can cause leg cramping. And if you're on these medications and you don't want to go off, and I'm not suggesting that you do, because your health is yours. Your health is your responsibility, and if you're working with a physician, between the two of you, you are a team. Yet, if you're not exercising a lot, but you're not on the couch all day, and you're still getting leg cramps, and it's like maybe half an hour to an hour after you take the medication, talk to your physician about it. Sometimes just sleeping at night, if you sleep really well at night, you might get this cramping. It's rare that I get it right now, and it could be because of how I'm doing with my Lyme disease, but I'll go into that in a minute. Pregnancy, because you got the extra weight. I carried a lot of weight with all three girls, and so there was a lot of weight, and it was painful in my legs, but I don't remember getting the cramping. I really don't. Not in my legs. Liver disease. Toxins can build up in your system, causing muscle spasms. So it's really important if you work in an area with toxins. And folks, even smoking, those of you who are smokers, that's a toxin going into your body. Try to reduce it or eliminate it if you haven't already. And not only that, but the loved ones you are with that don't smoke, they are inhaling that same toxin in a different level. So if you're going to smoke, be kind, do it outside, and try to do it away from people if you can. And then other infections such as tetanus, and I haven't heard of many cases with tetanus in a long, long time. And I hesitated getting the immunization that is out there, and I was a few years beyond my schedule. But I did do it because I was we were talking about having a procedure done, and I wanted to make sure, even though when the instruments are cleaned, it goes through major sterile technique type stuff. I worked in a department at the hospital I worked at, and it's amazing what they have to do to make sure that equipment that they use in the OR or any other procedures they use goes through a sterile technique, and it goes, oh my gosh, it's really intense. No, I'm not going to share it. So who's at risk for this? It really is intense. So who's at risk for this? Athletes, people who like to exercise, overweight people. Now remember, I said if you are pregnant, you have the tendency for that. If you are overweight, you're carrying that weight every single day. And so you have a tendency, you have the opportunity to have leg cramps and stuff. So if you're getting them, maybe consider getting a little extra exercise and try to reduce a few things to help you. If you're older, yay me, that can happen there. I'm doing okay, so we're not going to complain there, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. Pregnant, I already said that. The other thing is those with medical conditions like thyroid and nerve damage or nerve disorders. And I wanted to bring up, some of you already know that I have chronic persistent Lyme. Now, I worked 4 years on antibiotics, and then it took me quite a few years to get to where I am today. But some of the symptoms are nerve issues, and that is why I used to have horrible, horrible leg cramps. And so I used to have to do some things. And some of the things that I did, and it is recommended, is if you're laying in bed, straighten your leg straight out. And I'll try to back up here a little bit. and start pulling your feet up, okay? So if you're doing this with your arm, this area here would be your calf, pulling your feet up, have your partner or just push it up against the bedpost and just push, because what it's doing, it's reversing that. Hurts like the dickens, but you have to kind of do it, and do it slowly and keep doing that. And I think if you do something like that before you go out for a walk, before you get up in the morning, anytime, do it a couple times during the day, you might find that it will be helpful. Another thing that you can do is hot baths. Those help. They helped me a great deal. I used to get in Epsom salt baths, and they helped a great deal. But I also had back pain. I had so much pain, it was unbearable. But my husband also used to do a massage, and that was a big plus too. Going to a massage therapist will also benefit. If you go there and you specifically tell them, I'm having horrible leg cramps, they might be able to help you, because there could be some nerve damage, or could be a tight nerve somewhere, and they might be able to help release it a little bit. So let me see. So you can apply heat, you stretch the muscle. Let's see. Remember that when you have something in pain in your legs, your muscles and everything, that means that there has been damage done, and you want to reverse it and do it gently. You don't want to go and repeat it. One of the things that I used to do, and I used to love to do, and I plan to do it again, is I love, around our neighborhood, we have some hill type areas, and one of them is a very steep hill. And I used to walk that all the time. I haven't walked it in a couple of years, so I know when I go to do it, I have to do some other type walking to build up to that hill. I would get home and I would have horrible cramps halfway up. Even if I went the other way and went down, I would still have the cramping. So what I do is when I come home and I have cramping, I take a tonic water, and I'm going to share that in a minute. Patience, folks. All right, so you can do massaging of the muscle. Drink fluids. Now, I drink water all day long. I drink about 4 cups. This is about a 2-cup measure. And I drink that all day long. Sometimes I drink 3 of those, depending on how thirsty I am. And I drink a couple cups of tea and 1 cup of coffee, but I'm trying to back off of that right now. This is the reason it's hard, because this morning was going to be the first day. It didn't happen. So tomorrow will be the first day. There's always a chance, but I only stayed on 1, and so I'm like, I'm going to be positive about this. It's going to happen. It's not that I want to quit my coffee drinking. It's just that I want to cut back. So, but drink lots of fluid. And then the other reason with coffee, it is a diuretic. So if you're drinking a lot of coffee, you're getting dehydrated. So that's another reason to make sure that you're not drinking just coffee all day. Drink the water, drink the juices, drink tea, and hydrate your body differently. And make sure you take anti-inflammatory meds, which is what Tylenol, ibuprofen. They don't recommend aspirin, but that's the only thing that gets rid of pain for me. But what I don't do is I don't take Tylenol because it doesn't work. I don't take ibuprofen because it doesn't work and it has a side effect that I'm not too comfortable with. What I take is I use turmeric. Now I make these capsules, but what I do is, and I did do a video, and I will try to, I think it's over here that I'll link, it'll show up. What I do is I take turmeric, I take at least 2 capsules a day. But if you don't want to make capsules, you can make your own turmeric powder. And what it is, it's about 1 cup of turmeric, and it's a tablespoon of black pepper. And not the white and black, it's the black pepper. And you can grind it up if you want. And then what you do is you mix it together, and it'll look like your turmeric has freckles. Once you see the black in it, not really dark, you can see that my capsules are not that way. You just want enough so you see the speckle. Now what you can do with this is you can make golden milk. And what it is you make the powdered milk. You put in a jar like this, the powder of the turmeric and the peppering, and you just shake it up and you have it on your shelf. And I do have some. What you do is you take maybe, first of all, warm up some milk. And then whatever milk, it doesn't matter. I don't use regular milk. My husband does, but I use, like, right now I haven't been using soy milk. I've been using oat milk. And even that, I haven't been drinking a lot of the milks, but when I drink them, I drink an alternate milk. Sometimes it's soy, sometimes it's oat, and sometimes it's, I think there's a coconut. So those are the three that I tend to. Now in that milk, you're going to want to put a tablespoon of coconut oil, and then a tablespoon of this, and then to make it more palatable, put in some vanilla extract. I make my own vanilla extract, and it does make a difference. You warm it up. You just warm it up until it's sort of like, okay, I don't know how old the people are that are watching, but when I was younger, and I still make my hot cocoa this way, I use dark cacao, and I just mix that with milk, and that's how I do it. But with the turmeric, you don't put the cocoa in it, you just put the curcumin in it. And the reason for the black pepper is it gets the turmeric, and the black pepper actually takes the curcumin out of it, and that the two of them combined is what releases pain. So today I woke up with a headache. It wasn't horrible, it wasn't my migraine, but I woke up and I had a headache, and it was like, oh, this is going to be fun. I took 2 of these and it was gone within a half an hour. And I think because I take these every day, with or without a headache, I think that helps with the leg cramping. I'm not sure, so I can't guarantee that. So I make them, but that doesn't mean you have to. If you don't want to buy the over-the-counter ones, you can make it yourself by just buying the stuff over the counter at your grocery store or your natural food store. They will have the turmeric for you. All you have to do is ask, and you can get it. Just kind of do, I can't tell you, like, if you get a little jar, how much turmeric to the pepper, but I know that I buy in bulk, so it's 1 cup and then 1 tablespoon. So that is an option that you can do instead of having pain meds. That's just my choice. It's a choice that I recommend. It's a suggestion I recommend to my husband. He takes turmeric every day, and we both seem to have less pain. Now, it might not work for you, and you know what? We all have different conditions, so you have to find the root cause of your condition before you can deal with that. Now, I mentioned something about other diseases. My Lyme disease, did I mention that? If I didn't, if I did, I'm sorry. But Lyme disease, it affects your spinal, your fluids and stuff like that. So there's a reason that Lyme people are in so much pain. It's because it's hitting all those nerves. And so turmeric was one of those things. It was like a saving grace for me because it helped with my pain. I took a lot more than 2 a day. And then as I started adding my other supplements, my other herbs and stuff that I take, that's when things started to get a lot better. So we went over that. Plenty of water, stretch before exercise, eating foods with high magnesium and potassium. Now, and then, okay, I'm going to get back to that. Wear comfortable and supportive shoes, and adjust your exercise where appropriate. Now, supportive shoes are really hard to come by, but you can get support pieces for your shoes, and that's what I recommend. But eating foods with high magnesium and potassium and calcium. What I want to talk about, because if you remember, I said something about the electrolytes. They have a lot of that in there. When you're doing this through your diet, and I recommend doing this through your diet instead of buying every bottle of supplement that's on the wall, because I think we can become we can overconsume on a good thing. So be very careful if you are taking supplements. My recommendation and what we do here is we consume foods. Now, I might buy just a couple of bananas this week, but we cut one in half and we split it, and then we'll have the other one another time during the week, unless I find a good deal and I freeze them, and then I have half a banana that goes into a fruit smoothie. So there's all kinds of things to get the potassium in, and you can have something different every single day because a lot of foods have potassium, magnesium, and calcium. And you don't have to drink milk to get calcium. You can have those alternate milks. And even though I don't drink a lot of it, I can get calcium in some of my green foods. And that's the thing that you need to understand. You can get a lot of your nutrients through your foods, and it doesn't have to be store-bought package. It actually should be from your produce aisle and your meat area. Try to buy the healthiest meat that possible, and your dairy, whatever your body can handle. Now, I'm not here to give you diet tips or anything like that. One of the things I do, though, is I drink this. It's tonic water that has quinine. I'm going to bring it up and see if it comes through okay. And as you can see, it says quinine on it. This is from our local store. I do not buy a name brand because I don't find it essential to do that. I buy the store brand, and it says tonic water contains quinine. This alone helps with that muscle cramping. So when I was coming home from work, I would actually take some of this, but I would add in a juice. The juice that I add in, this is an organic pure beet juice. It's not the one I've always used. It's just one that I've added because beets are good for you. And I do not like beets. I've never liked beets, but I'm starting to cook them so that I do. I think as I get older, I'm getting smarter, and I'm learning how to cook with the foods that are actually really good for me. This is from Lakewood, the brand is, and what it is, it has, I'm going to tell you what's really good. It has calcium, which you need for your leg cramping. It's 26 milligrams. It has a little bit of iron. It has potassium, 490 milligrams. And that's only 10% of your daily requirement. The calcium is 2%. Let's see, magnesium is 42 milligrams, 10% again. And magnesium, it's 0.6, but it's 25% of your daily requirement. A juice like this helps with leg cramps. So if you take this, like a quarter cup of the tonic water, and maybe fill up another quarter cup of this, as you can see, I don't drink it all the time. I mean, I don't gulp it. There are, let's see, there's 4 servings in here. It lasts me much longer because I'm not a beet juice fan. Now, another thing that, you got to be aware of what will work for you. What works for me seems small to some, but for me, it's perfect. My husband might need a little bit more. It's the same thing like with medications. I don't need as much as others for some things, or I react or have a side effect or whatever. Some people can handle it, but some things that I can get a response for, I don't need to take as much. And there's no sense in over-consuming if it works for you. So that's one trick that you can do. So massages, exercise, stretching before and after exercise, drinking something like this, and turmeric. Now those are the first few that I have for you. I want to show you something else. This here, I made this batch already today. This is made from some, what did I make here? Sorry, I got distracted. I make a magnesium oil. Really easy to do, and you can too. The only reason, let's see, do I still have that out? Yes, I do. This is what's left of the magnesium oil that I made. It's just a little bit left. And with it, I made these jars of ointment, like a lotion. And it's really, really moist. And I have a little bit left. Where did I put that? Oh, here it is. And I made this earlier. And this is something, when you're getting a massage, you can put it on your legs. And it's really soft. And it rubs right in. Some of the things I make, because it has beeswax, depending on how much beeswax you have, it can become really hard. So you have to make sure that what you're putting in there is perfect. It goes right in. It's not greasy like some things. The oil would be a little bit greasy, but with this lotion, it's not like that at all. So this also can help with other type of pains, not just your leg cramps. My husband gets a lot of tightness in his shoulders. So do I. And I get a lot in my lower back. He gets it more in his mid back. And because I have back issues, I am always a mess. But what we do is I take something like this and I just massage it right into his shoulders and into the back of his neck. So this helps a lot. But what I also do is after I do that, I take a heat pack, a moist washcloth, a warm moist washcloth, take a heat pack, whether it's a hot water bottle or a rice pack or whatever you use, flaxseed, whatever you use for a hot pack, put that on there and that will help reduce the inflammation. Remember that the turmeric is supposed to reduce the inflammation. The heat reduces the inflammation. So you take something that has the magnesium in it, and this lotion has magnesium in it. I'm going to share the recipe. But this is fabulous. So I made 5 little jars, and I can't wait to have my husband try the new batch. And I've been doing this for a long time because he gets tight, and he stands up all day. And this job is not as bad as his old job, but he still gets tight. And plus, if he's bringing in 6 50-pound bags of various grains for me, he deserves a massage. So what we do, and the oil that I'm going to show you how to make, I can take this and put it in a foot bath. Another thing that you can do for a foot bath, or if you decide for these leg cramps it's too much, my legs used to be tight from the thighs all the way down, and it would really get tight in the calves, is I would get into the tub with a 1/4 cup or 1/2 cup of Epsom salts. That helps too. So that's an inexpensive way to do that if you don't want to make the oils, you don't want to make the ointments, or you don't want to purchase the ointments. You can do that. So we've talked about the tonic, we've talked about the ointments that I'm going to show you how to make. And you don't have to, but there is the option of Epsom salts in your bath. So with that being said, I'm going to show you how to make the oil. It's really, really easy. The first item is you need equal parts of magnesium flakes. And I have some magnesium flakes right here. You can get this online. You can go to a natural food store and they have it. You don't have to buy it in a big container. If this is the first time you're making it, go to your natural food store. Ask them, do you have any magnesium flakes that I can purchase in a small quantity? I bet you find that they do. You can. All right, let me push these aside. So we're going to use the same amount of magnesium flakes as water. I want a cup of water. Let me do this. And if you find that you really like how this turns out, you can make more than a cup, but I'm just going to give you the basic recipe. So a cup of that, and I'm going to show you what, I'm not sure if it'll show up on the screen here, but I want to show you what it looks like. This here is magnesium flakes. I'm trying to see if it's coming in clear for you. It looks like coconut, but it don't taste it. It's not the same. It's harder, it's not as soft, and it's not as delightful. So we're going to get a cup of magnesium flakes. And this part doesn't take very long. To make the oil, it doesn't take very long. Now, if you don't want to make a lot, you don't have to make a lot. So what I start with is I turn the oven on. Yay, me. So turn it on high until it gets to be a little bit hot. And then what we're going to do is put the magnesium flakes in it. And we got about a cup here now. Another thing that you can do with this oil, not only can you rub it into your legs and stuff, put it on a washcloth and stuff, or maybe even put that washcloth, your warm washcloth, soak it in with that, and then just put it on your cramp, and then put a heat pack on it. That might help as well. You don't want to have too much. It's almost like Epsom salt. Too much is is good, but it's not good. Like in a bath, it can actually make you dizzy. So you have to be very careful not to put too much in. Okay, so now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take, the water is almost simmering here. I am going to put my magnesium flakes in here. And it actually doesn't take too long, because right now, I don't know if you can hear it. That's the magnesium flakes being stirred. And so what you want to do is you get it until it's all melted. And I will be putting this in a mister bottle, you know, like a spray bottle, a little one, because it'll be nice and handy to have on hand. Just a little bit more. And seriously, it's not taking more than a minute to actually do this part. Maybe 2 minutes. More so if you are one that wants to make a big batch of it. Okay, that's done. So I am going to put this on the back burner, because now what I want to do is I want to make the ointment. Now some people might call that a magnesium brine, and that's fine. I just call it magnesium water. So you want to get a double boiler. And what we're going to do here is we are going to put 3/4 cup of olive oil. And yes, I made it before, so I'm just going to reuse the olive oil because I didn't put nothing else in it. I know you can't see the measurements because it's plastic and you can't see it, but it's almost there. The nice thing about pouring out of something like this, you don't end up putting too much in, so I measure it better. It's slower, but it works. So now I'm putting the oil in. The oil in first. I'm not turning the water on yet, although you could. Then 5 tablespoons of shea butter. And these ingredients, the shea butter, you can get as well online or at your natural food store. Shea butter is really good for your skin. And it takes the burn out of this the oil. So we got 5 of that. The next is 2 tablespoons of beeswax. And this is a 2 tablespoon measuring, so I'm only going to use 1 of these. So this takes a little bit longer. So what I'm going to do is basically we're going to melt this until it all melts. The shea butter will melt faster, and then the beeswax will be the last to melt. Even though we put 2 tablespoons in versus the 5, shea butter just melts faster. And you want to just melt it slowly. Doesn't need to be on high, and you just let it go. And that's why we're in a double boiler here. So I'm going to let that work. It takes a few minutes, so I will be right back once this is all set and show you the next process. Okay, I am back, and what I'm doing now is I got all of this mixture all melted. I'll bring it up, hopefully you can see it. And I'm dripping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in a processor, a food processor, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it so that it turns creamy. And I'm going to try to turn this down. There you go. So what I do is the first step is to get this part mixed up. And you'll see that it turns a little bit white. I don't know if you can see that. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to pour in the brine, the magnesium brine, which has been cooling. So I am at the end stage of making this. I melted it all down, turned a beautiful golden. Everything was melted, and I had the brine on the back burner. I put it into the food processor, and what I did was I added 12 drops of spikenard and 12 drops of lang lang. Why do I choose them? They're healing type, calming type essential oils that I use in our massage oils that we use. And so I add them in here. Sometimes I add frankincense, but these do not. These are the oils that I use today. Just 12 drops each in this measurement of liquids or ingredients. If you double this, you can double that. If you cut it in half, cut it in half. You can use whatever essential oils that are pleasing to you. So you put it in here, and this has turned it. It's not drippy or anything like that, but it's nice and soft. I actually like it a lot. And I will put this in some more jars, and then I'll have a few extra jars and stuff like that. And I think that you would find that this is helpful. Now, we put it on our necks. We put it on our shoulders because they get really tight. And I actually rub this right into his muscles, and I kind of hurt him a little bit because I just rub right into it to kind of release everything. The other thing that I do after that as well is I take a hot washcloth, I put it under the water, hot washcloth, then I put a heat pack on it, and it takes a lot of that tension that's in the neck. But you can do the same thing with your leg cramps. You put this on your calf, lay on your tummy, and then if you can't lay on your stomach, just lay on your side with a pillow between your legs, and then just kind of wrap the heat pack or moist cloth and then the heat pack around it, and you might find that it helps calm it down. And that's after you've gotten up and you've stretched your foot. And like I said, you want to stretch it. You know, this is the calf area, this is your foot, and you bring it up. And this will help with foot cramping as well as the cramping that you get in your legs. So I hope this was informative. This stuff, I think you'll be really pleased because magnesium, instead of ingesting it, it's going directly into your skin, which makes it a little bit more effective. You can consume magnesium, but I think this is a healthier way. I'm not one to take magnesium supplements. We have some, yes, we have some in the house because when I had Lyme disease, you know, when I first got diagnosed, that was one of the things that was recommended. And I just don't like the side effects of magnesium. So this is another form of getting magnesium into your body, helping your muscles, and or taking a bath in Epsom salt baths. So those are my solutions for leg cramping, Charlie horses, and then other pains that you have in terms of your body having pains. Nobody in particular, just your body. And I hope it helps. I hope that this is a good help for you. And you know, you can buy this from people, and I'm thinking about selling a few myself. So, and you can gift it if this is something you make on your own. There's so many options, and I hope that this is I hope that you find that it's helpful for you. Have a great day, and may God bless you.